Hello, folks, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of Trade the Chain. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind everybody that this morning we did drop the episode featuring StormX's co-founder and CEO, Simon Yu. Really great episode. It was a pleasure to do the interview with him and dig deeper into StormX. We will a little opener following here before we get to the episode, but we hope you enjoy it. The link is directly below in today's Trade the Chain description. So go on over and catch that if you can. Thanks a lot, folks. Enjoy the episode. Everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is March 2nd, 2021. We've had a relatively steady day in the market, I guess you'd call it. Bitcoin a little reddish going into the afternoon times, but enough of that. I'm here with Monty and CJ, crypto analysts from marketrebellion.com. Ryan has the day off, I guess now I have to do the legal, so I'll just run through it. Please, we are here for your pure entertainment and educational purposes. Don't take anything we say as advice. Listen to us in the background, just not too seriously when it comes to finances, and watch your own investments, do your own research. Thank you very much, CJ, for putting up those disclaimers. Appreciate it. And now CJ with the plug.
Wow, Alex, that was really lacking the enthusiasm that Ryan typically has.
And CJ is good.
Don't listen to us. Don't, never do. All right.
This episode stinks. Sorry, guys.
Trade the Chain is brought to you by Trade the Chain, an AI sentiment indicator and dashboard with actionable alerts to help you beat the market. Now everywhere, there are people tuning in from all around the globe. Looking at a shot of our sentiment dashboard here, we can see that a little bit bearish here in the very interim 1 hour sentiment time frame. Still long-term bullish across the board though. But then moving on to marketrebellion.com/crypto. This is Monty and myself in Market Rebellion and our community. And with us, you get access to exclusive trade ideas, our macro portfolio allocations, a pro charting platform, a trading education curriculum with exams, videos, handouts, all that good stuff, and an elite community of traders all throughout the world and much more. If you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service that gives you everything you need all in one place. You can start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto. We now have a mobile app as well. For the Apple users, we're hoping to be on Android soon enough. But with that being said, let's head over to the big boards and check out Bitcoin, because seen a little downward price action here after yesterday's bump from about 43K, the absolute low of the trend. And so a couple things I want to focus on. First with the technicals, but I do want to share one chart that kind of backs up some fundamental on-chain metrics that we've been seeing today. As you can see here, we made it all the way up to almost a green 9 on the sequential indicator. That would have been a sell signal. Still would have been, except the selling actually occurred on the candle itself. And so we flipped and have now been rejected from that 50K level, that top Keltner channel as well. The promising thing that I really like to see here is the fact that we have broken above the middle white Keltner channel, which is proven has been resistance historically, but is now flipped to support. We've back tested it and bounced off at 46.9 level. And, we're kind of still trending upward. But if we look at the previous run up, you want to pay attention to when price can flip and make a substantial climb above the white Bollinger Band, or they all look the same. The Keltner channels and the Bollinger Bands, they look identical, but but the Keltner channels are what I like and what I've been using. But you want to look when price can get above this mid-white channel and then continue climbing higher. So that's what I always look for. We're not quite there yet, but based on the fact that we've broken up and are beginning to trend upward, that's a good sign. It's also a good sign to see that we're kind of, this thing is not descending. It's much more in a neutral trajectory now. And what you want to see is like a nice curving upward of that mid Keltner channel. So cool stuff. The last thing I want to say before passing it off to Monty, and this was the fundamental on-chain metrics I was talking about earlier. This is an indicator from Glassnode known as the adjusted SOPR. And essentially what this measures is the amount of coins that were moved and sold at a loss on a particular day. So you can see each time we reach one of these red periods where a lot of people are essentially panic selling, we had the same thing here, very close to when we hit our previous bottom at around 28K. We had a very close level to where we're at now. So what this leads me to believe is that a lot of those speculative leveraged longs and weak hands that got into the market above 50K and 55K have likely capitulated and left the market. So now we can actually put in a long-term sustained higher low for the macro trend to be able to consolidate over the next couple of weeks and then hopefully go up and test the 60K level and hopefully the six-figure level by the end of 2021.
Hold on, Monty. Before you go ahead, this is where I'd like to pause and say, if you like what we're doing, please hit the like button or smash it and subscribe as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Alex. That's a true YouTube staple right there, the request for smashing the like button. But yeah, I want to talk about something CJ kind of mentioned there, and that's how in order for Bitcoin to go higher, we need some capitulation of these people that have been holding on to Bitcoin for a very long time. And when I spoke yesterday on the show, I was very excited that we were getting this bullish price action, and then we had some nice weather outside. And now we're getting a reversal. And some people in our community have messaged me, and they're like, are you flipping your viewpoint? Or you think we're going back to 44 to 45K? And my answer is no, I don't think so. What I think is happening here is something that has proven to be true many times in Bitcoin's history, and that is psychological profit taking. When we first ran up here to 50K, this pink line right here is 50K, the 50K price point. It took us a very long time to finally break through this level. And that's because a lot of the people that were holding Bitcoin in for the long term had sell orders placed right around 50K. A lot of people placed sell orders just underneath to capture these kind of swing highs right here. And I think that's exactly what's going on here. People are taking profit at 50K again. It's just a good round psychological number to take profit at. But I don't think it speaks to the end of this trend. CJ pointed out that the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels are both forming support on the middle. And yeah, I just want to quickly throw the Bollinger Bands on here to point that out. So you can see we might be getting some support on that yellow line right here. I would like to see that. But if not, I think it may be possible that we revert all the way back down to 45K. But I just think that this trend is likely to continue. I think we're going to set a higher low here, higher than this.
What's going on with your Bollinger Bands?
I'm not too sure.
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, they just keep appearing and disappearing.
Yeah, I think it's because I was clicking so much. Yeah, I think that's why. But yeah, I like where Bitcoin's headed. I think if it reverses here, it has the potential to break above 50K. And yeah, I really just think this reversal in the short-term sentiment that CJ kind of highlighted earlier with these kind of bearish hourly sentiments, I think that can be largely attributed to psychological profit taking around 50K. But once we smash through that, there's really not much until 57K. So I'm still bullish.
So Monty, so what you're saying is basically because, what happened last week was kind of like the start of a lot of bearishness in the market and all that. Are you saying that compounded with a little bit of panic selling when people saw some profit takers taking money off the table, kind of extended this period. And so you're looking for this period to end in the short term and continue its next step.
Yeah, it's exactly what I think happened. It's also encouraging that it's always tough when you get such a sharp sell-off. We went from 57.5K to 44.9K in a day. And when that happens, I think the price floor is just a lot stronger. We have that setup support from the TD sequential 9 that CJ and I keep harping on at 45K. Also the Fibonacci support at that level. So I think we got a bit greedy on this run up to 58K. So this shakeout here back to 45K was natural. And I think it ultimately is going to be a healthy thing. And now the climb up might be a bit slower, but I think we're headed right back to where we left off at that 58K level.
Before we get to Voyager and the earnings, have you guys seen the chart going around where Goldman Sachs opens up a crypto trading desk? It's at the peak of 2017 and then our recent peak.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't find that there's any validity or any relevance to that. I think it's just a funny joke that a lot of people have been putting around on social media, but I have actually gotten a couple people out to me being like, this is a very concerning chart. But I don't know. I can't imagine they'd have that atrocious of timing twice, but I could be wrong.
I mean, here it is. They restarted the cryptocurrency desk, and to your point, CJ, they did this at the height of the other one. But the thing is that they've always denied it. So who knows if it's true, if it's real, it's not. They do have a lot of big investments in companies with big backers of both Circle and Bitco for their exposure into cryptocurrency. But interesting times. I was going to just mention a few things on the news real quick, which was a couple of headlines today, and Goldman Sachs restarting their cryptocurrency desk was one of them, but also the CBOE has files to list VanEck Bitcoin ETF, as well as options traders are looking at a bullish 75K and higher Bitcoin by the summer. Couple of other interesting articles is Unchained Capital has raised another $5.5 million. And then what happened today was some really big headlines, which was Gensler says the SEC must root out crypto fraud. He came out publicly and had a few comments on Bitcoin, and we'll see. It actually coincided a little bit with today's sharp dip, which just happened to be during our Stormex video as well. But that's another story. What's happening with Ethereum? What do we got going on in the charts over there, guys?
You want to start us off with ETH, Monty?
Yeah. Not surprisingly, it's not too much different than what we're seeing with Bitcoin. Give me a second here to pull up the chart. I mean, a lot of these are just trading in tandem right now. One thing I do think is worth mentioning for ETH, give me a second here.
And while he's doing that, CJ, the inflows and lockups in DeFi with Ethereum, are we still seeing a downward trend from them? And also, folks, again, it's not a downward trend as in assets are coming out of DeFi. It's a consolidation of the price of Ethereum that's sending it down.
Yeah, right. Because we're talking about total value locked, not like and that's obviously dependent on price and how it fluctuates. So one thing that I want to point to very briefly here before passing it off to Monty is that on the weekly chart with Bitcoin, we talk about the Fibonacci levels from the last bear and bull market cycle and how they project us at a 45K level and then roughly a 62K level for our next resistance. That equivalent when it comes to Ethereum is the level that we form support right here. I drew these levels weeks ago and I haven't really looked at this chart. And sure enough, they're lining up pretty nicely off of support at 1420. And then you can see the other critical levels that we have here above. So that 1420 level is holding strong thus far and is pretty much in lockstep with Bitcoin. as Ryan would say. It's not here.
Yeah, I just want to go back to what I was talking about with Bitcoin, and that's psychological profit taking. So I was talking about how Ethereum and Bitcoin have been moving very much in tandem, lockstep, but really there is a significant difference in the sense that above Bitcoin, it has the psychological resistance of 50K, whereas ETH is kind of hovered around its equivalent of 1500. So I just want to quickly look at the 4-hour chart here. And as you can see, ETH looks a little bit different in the sense that it's getting some support here at the psychological level of 1500. So that leads me to believe that after this sell-off here, people are content buying ETH below 1500. But it's also different in the sense that beyond just the resistance of the all-time high, there is this new resistance because it did hit a green 9 on the 4-hour, whereas Bitcoin only hit a green 8. So I think ETH is going to be kind of locked in this range between maybe 1450, where it whipped down to, and 1620 for the next couple of days. But just like I said with Bitcoin, what encouraged me about ETH is a break above this level, because it's already above the psychological level of 1500. A break above this set up resistance from the green 9 basically has blue skies all the way up to this next level of 1900. So I think there's the potential for ETH to go back up just as quick, if not even quicker, than the time it took for it to go all the way back down to 1380. So a little bit different than Bitcoin, but largely I still think it's going to be contingent on Bitcoin's performance.
Almost looks like a nice little inverse head and shoulders pattern there. Not perfect, but pretty interesting on the 4-hour. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take it over to what happened yesterday. We alluded to it when we covered Voyager in yesterday's episode. Excuse me. But that is, they had their earnings call last evening, end of day, 5 p.m. CJ, any chance you can give us some bullet points off of what happened off that call? It was really positive. They had about 600 people, I heard, and they had a lot of Wall Street banks that came to participate.
So from the top, we have 240 million annualized revenue run rate. Boom. Boom. 75% investor funded customer accounts have made trades in the month of January. So we're getting some active trading, not just hodling. The VGX wait list is finished. That's correct? I'm reading that. Wow.
Yeah, that's what Steve Ehrlich said, that they have now blown through the wait list, or completing it today and tomorrow. But yeah, it's gone like the wind.
Wonderful. Well, glad to have everyone on board. Next, 50% increased budget to go into the, 50% of increased budget will go into the marketing to grab market share for Invest Voyager. So there's going to be a lot more money allocated to marketing.
Super Bowl ads.
Phenomenal job. And $1.6 billion worth of trading volume, monthly trading volume. That's pretty impressive. Customer growth has not slowed due to Bitcoin price retracements. It's actually brought more customers. And so we're seeing an increase in deposits all across Voyager. Good stuff all around. Their info has been sent to New York for a BIT license, and they're expecting it in the next few months. And lastly here, 400 million net new deposits between new and existing funded accounts at Voyager. So if you want to get all of those details, just go to Alex's Twitter channel, because he pretty much listed all of them. Let me just share my screen.
You were sounding so educated there, and now he's giving away where our bullet points have come from. It was a really positive call, and one of the really pumped up things that I heard was that bullet point that you mentioned where it said, customer activity didn't decrease due to Bitcoin's retracement. It actually increased. And their response to that was basically because, listen, we're Voyager. We have all these tokens on the menu for people to trade, as opposed to like, hey, Coinbase in New York, you got like, I don't know, 8-10 tokens, where they have over 50. And it's true. It just gives a breadth of options for people to trade on. Voyager's it's just stupid easy to interact with. And I like it. So congratulations to Steve Ehrlich and the team over there. Looking forward to that money being spent on the Super Bowl ad for next year. And, a few things I just want to cover real quickly is these are some of the coins that I'm currently paying attention to, but two in particular. Oh, well, there you got Voyager. Everything's neutral today. Everything's down and neutral. So it's a little depressing, but it's okay. But one of these is NEM, and CJ made this call yesterday on Digital Asset News during a Trading Trinity episode. Actually, we all did. It was ticker XEM, and I believe, CJ, we picked that yesterday as a short-term trade, and we're currently up on the P&L for that.
Yeah. I didn't pick it. I just picked the entry levels. I think you picked it based on sentiment, but either way, it worked out, and it was up about 15% earlier today.
Oh wow, that makes me look like the hero.
It's about time you win one. So,
well, speaking of winning and losing, as I pop over through the Ops Center here, if you didn't catch our episode, which aired this morning with the CEO and co-founder of StormX, ticker is STMX. Here's their beautiful chart. Please do. It's a great episode. It was great to hear more about them and figure out what StormX is up to. It's a $98 million market cap token with a lot of velocity and customer acquisition over the last 12 months. I believe it was about 450,000. They have great tokenomics. They've been around since 2014. So definitely check that episode out. And that's about it from my side.
You joke about that Super Bowl commercial, but Steve actually did it when he was at E-Trade. They had an E-Trade Super Bowl, so it might happen.
Did he star in it? Because I think he should star in it with all the memes that go around with his face attached to it. That would be hilarious.
I think they'll probably stick with the logo, but
he's a great CEO, but I don't know how he is as an actor.
I mean, that would be hilarious if their Super Bowl commercial was a meme. That'd be nice. So, all right, folks, we're out of here. Thank you for joining us for today's episode. If you did like us, even if you don't like us, just hit the like button, please. Don't smash it. We've had a break in the past. We appreciate it. Hang on to your handlebars. We will all see you tomorrow, and happy trading.